because might have some thoughts on Ukraine. Yeah.
Do a little Nance. Trader Donald Trump. Get found from Nance. Get found tonight. Listen out from Nance. Trader Donald Trump. Get found from Nance. It's found tonight.
Oh, hi, Malcolm Nance. Hi.
God, you subjected me to that first thing in the morning. I don't believe this. Some friend you are.
Isn't it? Yeah, I know. You're welcome. And isn't it? It's lovely to hear. Putin loves Ukraine. You see, you know how that is. You just love something and you just want it. And so
you bomb it.
Lots of things I love. I'm just gonna take them. Take them because he loves it.
He's got that Jeffrey Dahmer love.
Yeah. Yes.
Right.
Yes. I mean, it is amazing, right? To just hear him spin Putin talking points constantly, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, no, it doesn't surprise me that he spins Putin's talking points. The segment that I really loved, and I don't know if you've played it already, is the one where he just glowingly loves President Xi of China and Kim Jong-un, top of his game. You know, it's like this is a guy who blew his uncle apart with a 23 millimeter anti-aircraft gun, and Donald Trump, and starves his population into famine, into compliance. And Donald Trump's thinking, yeah, you know, that's a real leadership. That's what I'd like to do. You are seeing a mirror to this man's soul.
Yeah.
He views evil as admirable.
Yeah.
And, you know, for all the things that happened this week with regards to birth control and these other things, email lady would not have brought us one to the brink of the end of democracy.
Yeah.
Look, I'm shouting already.
You're shouting already, Shouty. By the way, I got to be interviewed by Shouty McShoutface on Black Man Spy, his new podcast. It was fantastic.
That was fun. As a matter of fact, you know, asking you questions, that's a little unnerving, you know?
It was fun and fantastic. Get it wherever you get your podcast. So let's talk. Dmitry Medvedev tweeted, "Why will Ukraine disappear? Because nobody needs it. Europe doesn't need Ukraine. The forced support of the Nazi regime by the American Mentors Order has put Europeans in a financial and political inferno, all for the sake of Bandera's Ukraine." You just said, "I look forward to seeing you in The Hague." Look out for those windows. Go ahead. Talk on that for a minute, because.
Well, you know, one of the funniest things I saw when I returned to Ukraine, I joined the International Legion. I went up to Kyiv, and on my way back, there's a town called Bilaservska, which is the major north-south route from Kyiv to Odessa. And at one big major intersection, it goes in every direction that the Russians would have to take. All of the road signs have been changed from their names, pointing to The Hague, The Hague, The Hague, The Hague in every direction. And Medvedev's comments are just indicative of how Russia thinks. They really do not believe Ukraine should exist. They are willing to mass murder civilians left and right. And, you know, every time you get a peek into their soul, you hear them say the silent parts out loud. The only thing missing out of this is that we have the minutes to the conference where they're going to mass murder every Ukrainian military officer, every intellectual. We know that. We've captured some of those documents. The Royal United Service Institute in London has those documents where they did plan to kill every major intellectual in Ukraine and cleanse it of its Ukrainian identity. We have to be on guard for this all the time.
Yeah.
Fighting Russia is now an obligation that we're just going to have to, support to the end.
Yeah. You also, speaking of Ukraine and leaks, you said Ukraine leaks. I've seen a lot of classified in my time at way higher levels. This is a low-grade report with some surprising admiration of Russia that looks like it was edited to make Putin happy, as for NATO SOF in Ukraine, embassies have them. NAFO literally has more presence. Can you explain that? Can you decode that?
Yeah,
I don't have my decoder ring.
Let's talk about the leaks, because I'm writing a Substack article that you'll be able to read at malcolmnance.substack.com. By the way, if you haven't subscribed to my Substack, you're missing some good stuff, like how Putin's going to get killed by his own people.
Yeah.
But I'm writing an article about the leaks. And I want to talk to all you kids out there who might be in the armed forces or thinking about the armed forces or the intelligence community, you Gen Zers, hey, when you swear an oath, keep the oath. Whoever brought these documents out, printed them out, folded them up about the size of a combat uniform pants pocket, shoved them in his pocket, and decided he was going to do the Julian Assange, Edward Snowden thing. But all they really revealed, now, some of these documents were doctored, clearly doctored. I found out from my experts from the National Security Agency that some of these documents have been floating around since October, but they have March dates on them. So there's also a chance for what we call black propaganda, where they edit the documents and they put it in a stream of real documents. So whoever did this thought they were doing somebody a favor. But one of the comments I saw was that there are a lot of people in the armed forces and law enforcement who view Donald Trump as this icon, and that tearing down Ukraine and revealing these things would assist Russia. That's always a possibility. But I'm just saying this. I spoke up for Reality Winner when she did the stupid thing and printed that document. She got her pardon, or she got her sentence commuted. What Donald Trump did is an order of magnitude thousands of times worse than this leak. Yeah. But, this did give up some information.
It, by the way, does feel like they're getting very nervous about the documents case. Just, based on, his tweets, whatever they are. And, just it does seem like Jack Smith is moving very quickly. And you and I have talked about this before, that it appears to be because there is national security urgency involved, yes?
Yeah, sure. And, everybody has bleed over, in administrations where one or two or a few documents get brought to the archives out of thousands and thousands of documents, tens of thousands of documents in many circumstances. This is not what happened with Donald Trump. He stole those documents. Someone signed them out of a secure vault, brought them to the White House, put that stuff in boxes, and Donald Trump went back through those boxes after his lawyers certified that they were secured everything and were bringing them out, and took documents away. I'm not kidding you. It's probably going to end up being atomic bomb plants or atomic bomb weaponeering for Saudi Arabia, which he likely sold for $2 billion. Now, that's my projection, but I'm really good at this game.
Yeah.
I'm really wrong. But I certainly hope that that's going to lead to a relatively easy conviction of Donald Trump.
Wow. That you heard Nostradamus. When's he been wrong? Never. Okay. By the way, I loved this tweet exchange. You had someone said to Matt Taibbi, "You haven't been invited back because you're not credible or a trusted source of information." And Matt said, as opposed to Malcolm Nance, and you said, "That's right, bitch."
Well, Matt Taibbi, what can I say? Have many guys followed this guy since he was at Rolling Stones? He's become a complete and total loser. I mean, I'm speaking to you, Matt, and I'm saying it lovingly. You're a loser. You work for Elon Musk. You become his fluffer. You go there. You go through all of the executive documents at Facebook, or at Twitter. You actually take people's private information and how they were handling things. You craft a narrative, and in one interview, you're proven a complete, absolute liar and fabricant.
Yeah.
Fabulous. And what does he do? He writes his own Substack article complaining about MSNBC, that the last time they called him to MSNBC, he was on camera with me.
Yeah.
And I so humiliated him, I guess. He refused to come back on, and MSNBC never asked him back on till Mehdi Hassan brought him back on and ruined him completely.
Yeah.
So now Matt's mad at the world, and he says this stupid little comment. I don't know what these guys think. Do they not know who I am?
Yeah.
I have no guardrails now, right? I'm out of Ukraine. I survived a war. I'm going to tell you what I think about you PAB.
Malcolm, we've been talking, this morning about the fact that we are literally facing fascism, as you always shout about. That's how important these next elections are, whether it's Trump or DeSantis or some version of them. And just, we were talking, as you write in all your books, about useful idiots for Russia or whatever, and how sometimes the far left can help. I mean, we were just talking about, Bobby Kennedy, who's, Steve Bannon has encouraged Bobby Kennedy to primary Joe Biden. It's like, here we go, right?
Right.
And this is, he's pictured with, Bannon, I think Mike Flynn in some pictures, and he's way on this anti-vax thing. It's just, I'm like, what happened? I mean, just
he went nuts. He went nuts. With the COVID thing, he was already on his way out. And with the COVID thing, he went to rabid anti-vaxxer. And his only allies were the Trump administration people.
Steve Bannon said it out loud. This is to create chaos. He said, I'm encouraging him to run, which you write about in all your books. They're chaos agents. That's what they're looking for. That's what Russia wants, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, anyone who even considers that he has a modicum of sanity, okay, that he's going to be a quote-unquote Democrat, you're not a Democrat, right? You vote for anyone other than the current ticket or whoever's at the top of the ticket. You're voting for Trump. You're voting with the Steve Bannon fascist, the man who actually said, if they call you a racist or a fascist, embrace it lovingly. That's who you're voting for. You're voting for the baddies. So don't even pay attention to this guy. What will he get? He's going to get the vote from Andrew Yang? What? I don't know who would actually vote for him.
We talked about this on we talked about this on Black Man Spy yesterday, that the oldest, the last living Nuremberg prosecutor died, and how my dad was an assistant prosecutor, and how this was not a debate. How did it become a debate again? Whether Nazis bad, right?
Yeah, well, we're just in a world where the average American who reads Facebook, Twitter, is on TikTok, Instagram, gets their news from live streaming instead of, reputable news sources, just haven't suffered what our parents suffered in World War II. My dad was 15 when he joined the Navy. He so wanted to help out, right? He lied about his age. Your dad was a Nuremberg prosecutor. He was in the Army too, right?
Yep.
And what did we do to the Nazis? We hung the ones who were evil, right? Nuremberg judged them. A British hangman was knocking them off 20 per day. Now, we don't understand our place in history because the Republicans are rewriting history, and many of us are too lazy to read beyond the headlines. Yeah. So if you don't educate yourself, your friends, as to what real, tangible, quantifiable facts are, you come up stupid.
Yeah. Can we just review quickly before you go? Because you oftentimes drop little bombshells. Travis, did I hear that correctly? Did you say that you think your prediction, Nanstradamus, was that you think we're going to find that Trump not only stole classified, but it is nuclear, and that he sold it to Saudi Arabia? That's where the $2 billion figure came from, to Jared Kushner.
I believe that. I mean, we'll have to see. That's just a projection, right?
Yeah.
Jared Kushner magically has $2 billion. Now, we don't know whether it was for, the only thing it could be for is nuclear weapons. That's all Saudi Arabia has been waiting for, is to get parity with Iran. And you could see early on in Trump's administration, he was saying that about South Korea and Japan. Maybe they should get nuclear weapons to balance this out, until he fell in love with Kim Jong-un, right? Yeah. Now he only wants the North Koreans to have nuclear weapons.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if it was related to nuclear weapons development from the Department of Energy or from the armed forces, and then that it would allow Saudi Arabia to create its own atomic bomb.
Now, you're very careful about throwing around the T word, but wouldn't that be, treason? If in fact that were true, Malcolm?
Only rhetorically, because we're not at war.
All right.
But it would be the greatest betrayal since Benedict Arnold. Just straight up. Straight up. Now, I think Jack Smith's going to find out where those documents are. Because when you sign them out of the vault, we have them all registered. Somebody like Kash Patel went into that vault, signed them out, gave them to the president, never went back.
Wow.
Other people go to jail for this, not just Donald Trump.
Yeah. To be continued. Mm-hmm. Hooray. Black Man Spy. Get it, especially the one I'm on. It's fantastic. Love you, Malcolm. We'll see you next week. All right. 49 minutes after the hour. This portion of the show